Hey y'all, I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Alyssa.
We're your buttons babes, and we are pushing that button of career versus family this week. So, I have always been told that I want too much and that I need to pick a lane, and I've always thought in terms of starting a family, because I want kids, want all of that. Like, I want those things. But in my head, like, I knew that I had to be established and well far into my career before making those things happen. Like, I knew. Because I did go down that path of starting the family first.
Like super young. Super young.
Little fun fact, ladies and gentlemen. I was married at 19 and swore up and down that I would already have. No, I know, it's crazy. I look back now, I'm like, bitch, what were you doing and thinking?
Go on.
Like, because I literally thought by the age of 22 that I would at least have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Like, it's what I wanted. And until, because that's what I grew up around. Like, guys, drop a comment if it is different in terms of, like, generally the U.S., but you go to high school, you graduate, you go to college, and typically you get married and you start popping out kids. Like, that is the
American dream.
Yes, and it is the small town mentality that I personally grew up in. And especially as a woman, it's like, oh yeah, like, find a hobby, do your thing, not saying don't work, but
Soccer mom vibes.
yes, all of that. And all of my sisters already are married and have kids, and I am the black sheep that was like, I missed it. I dodged that bullet. But it's a bullet that I want to take. And so I always thought you had to pick, and I have fought against the grain of having to pick, and I'm like, no, fuck it, I want both. Come at me. I want both. But
it's possible.
Is it?
I mean, so for me, I honestly don't know if there was ever a time that I, like, really truly thought, like, about having a family of my own.
Okay.
Like, for sure, my mom raised us, thank you, Mom, to be extremely independent, self-sufficient, yes. Like, women first, like, put yourself first kind of women. Mm-hmm. So, like, there was never a question. Like, I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do as a kid, but I was always like, yes, I'm going to go to school, to college. After that, I'm going to get a job. And from there, I'll be a person.
Okay.
Like, that was, like, my, like, not necessarily, like, here's my, break for my wedding, break for the kids. Like, none of those ever have been in, like, any of my, like, 5-year, 10-year, someday plans.
Okay.
So it was never about having a family, but, like, being part of a family. Thankfully, because of how, like, cuckoo my family is, like, I'm very much like, yes, I have to get to that career point to be the, like, the fun, yes, successful aunt who, like, okay, can, like, take the kids for, like, a week to, like, somewhere cool and, like, whatever, and, like, have them and, like, get rid of them when it's done. When I'm like, you've had enough, I've had enough, we're all done here. Thanks for coming by.
Yes.
But, like, my mom worked when I was growing up, like, so we did daycare, after school, whatever, and it wasn't until I was in, like, middle school, high school that she became her own, work for her own self. She, okay, like, was like, I'm the boss now, I do this, and we were still, like, a semi-functioning family unit of people together. And so, like, she in that kind of showed me, for sure, I don't know about my siblings, but, like, yeah, you can still, or like, it's not really like a you can, it's kind of like a you must. Like, you have to be, like, you have to be able to do this.
Yes.
My grandma, my mom's mom, was also, like, she worked, but was, like, worked on a farm, also had a job in town, like, also had dinner on the table. Like, the impossible thing, yes, that she did kind of set the, like, me, and I'm like, well, I don't need to worry about farm or family, right? But, like, yes, career, okay.
But it damn near feels and seems impossible
If
for
I
women.
had a family,
and men,
it would seem impossible. And that's where I'm like, it's possible, but like, coming from me, who doesn't have a family.
it seems like, and I've always been like taught or seen as far as like the mom who has the family and a career, it's like she's got a cape on. She is superwoman, and it is hard work, but I feel women have to, if that is something that they realize that they want, they have to plan for it more so than men do. I'm not saying that men don't have to plan for being able to, like, because the stereotype or the what society has put on men is that you need to be able to make a certain amount of money to provide for this family so that if your wife wants to, she can stay home and work. Fully aware of that in terms of like that is the
norm,
stigma,
almost.
that's the norm, that's the pressure that is put on men.
expectancy.
Exactly. But in terms of wanting to go after your career as a woman and still have a family, like you like there's almost like a timeline that is put on it because you go to college, you get your master's, or you need to get that, hands-on experience. That takes a certain amount of time, and then, that your clock is ticking bullshit. Like, it's like, okay, like, how do you factor in being able to do that and being in a company that allows for you, or creating a company that allows for you to take time off to be at home with your child, start that family? It's almost as if now, in order to do that and be able to set up that foundation of a family, you need help. Like, you need a nanny, you need like your mom or your
dad,
grandma, somebody. Like, it takes a village.
It takes a village.
Or it takes a butt ton of money. And it's like, oh, okay, so great. Let's add that on there. I need a butt ton of money. I need time. But I will have to say, I was recently home visiting my family. I have a big ass family, y'all. And we are taking family photos and got little minions running around, little humans all over the place, like a baby on one hip, like just switching off, trying to make sure each family
Full house.
Yes.
Full house up in here,
And
it sounds like.
It was chaos. But there was a moment, and there's a picture, and I'll share it, and like blog about it, whatever.
It's so precious.
There is a photo where I'm holding my nephew on one hip, and I'm looking out, and I'm watching everything happen. And I'm like, oh.
You see it.
I see it. I get it. It's hard work, but it's possible. And
it definitely takes a team.
Yes.
Like, one of my references of like how it's possible is a friend, Jen, who has a great YouTube show. Maybe we'll link it.
Yes, check it out.
But like her and her husband both have their traditional roles and they both work, but their non-traditional is that like they're so equal in how they balance those things. And like she was at a company that like made it accommodating for her to be a parent.
Love that.
And through like a lot of their struggles, like they have still managed to be some of the coolest parents that I know, that I see being career people, but also being good parents. Not just like, yes, they feed and house their kid and like, it's taken care of, but like truly are teaching and learning with their kids. And I think that's something that's missing for people that I know that are trying to figure this like balance out, is like, yes, you can have a nanny, but are you also taking care of your kid? Are you growing, and like, do they know you exist? Yeah. And that's like, it is like, I mean, those two are fucking tired when I talk to them, and I'm like, I have zero recollection, understanding, whatever. But like, it's about you and your partner, I think.
I love that you say that, Alyssa, because it is so important. Like, and that ties into communication on what it is that you and your partner want when it comes to raising your kids, focusing and not losing sight of the careers. It takes a lot of compromise. It's like, okay, well, I've got this big job coming up. So do I. Like, okay, well, what do we do? How do we navigate this? Because both of our careers are important. Our kids are important. Like, we can't.
Hopefully they are.
Yes, right? It's not just about us anymore. Fuck. Like, that's right. We made little humans, and we are trying to make them good humans to make this place better, because that's that's what I hope it is for a lot of people out there. That's what it is for me. It's like, hey, we need to leave this place better than we found it, and we need more good people in the world.
Shout out to everyone who is raising a good human or trying. It's not easy. I don't want to begin to imagine.
Props to y'all. And so we would also love to hear the ways in which you balance your career and balance your kid, if there was, or if you're like, you know what, that's something that I gave up on in terms of I want this more. And that is okay. I've realized I had to come to grips with myself. Like, and at that point when I got divorced, it's like, oh, I want as much as I want kids, I want my career. I want, like,
I mean, as you should, like, you should want to strive for something, and
it's not just career, but it's like what I do isn't like who I am, but I love it. I love what I do, and so if I can't do that, and if I'm not happy, I would probably embark misery onto this little human. So that has to come first. So in terms of, and if the little human happens, the little human happens, but I need to be able to show that little human that, yo, mommy loves what she does, and like, and also loves you, but like that
hard
sense
work.
of, yes, and taking care of yourself and putting you first in a healthy way, like I think is a part of making good little humans, that self-care component. But yes, it is okay if you don't want little humans and you put you and your career first. So I went off on a tangent, but that is what we have for you this week in terms of, you know, what is it? Career versus family.
Or
can you
both.
Yes, both. Can you have it all? We think you can. Drop below your comments, questions, feedback, stories, all of the things. Like, subscribe, and if you want more buttons of the week, you can check them out here and here. And we'll catch you next week. Bye.